And West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds where I spend most of my days. Wait, hold on. You guys didn't come here for that type of story, did you? No. Although that story is very interesting, but the story that you really came for is how you can get over $250,000 in business funding. So that's the story I want to tell you today. What story can you tell these lenders, to these creditors, to these bankers out there that's going to give you business funding? Because here's the reality. We all have interesting stories. We all came from different backgrounds, different cities, different environments. But to these lenders, to these creditors, they can care less. Only one story matters to them. Are you willing to pay us back? Your willingness to pay us back. That's all the banks, that's all these lenders care about. So if you can prove your willingness to pay them back, then you're going to be okay. That's the story you want to tell them. And the story is not based off any words, your verbiage. The story is not based off any promises that you're going to make. They can care less. The story that you're going to present to these lenders, to these creditors, is based off your data. That data is going to tell them everything they need to know about you as a business owner and everything they need to know about your business. It's the data that's going to qualify you for zero funding, for $25,000 funding, for $50,000 to $100,000 to $200,000 in funding and beyond. So we need to make sure that our story is intact, meaning we need to make sure that our data is in position. Now, primarily, we're going to talk about business funding and not business credit or bank credit. For those, if this is your first time following, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, etc. And welcome to my channel called London Business as Usual. Now, back to the program. So we're going to be focused on business funding because in my previous videos, I explained business credit, business funding, bank credit, three different concepts. Just to give you a recap or go back, I'll probably leave this video description in the description part so you can go ahead and check those videos out. But business credit is when you leverage your business by yourself and you're going to go to other companies and open up lines of credit. So just your EIN, we're going to go to other companies like Granger, Quill, Uline, you heard them before, primarily net 30 accounts, and we're going to open up lines of credit. Now, these net 30 accounts only focus on primarily your Dun and Brad. So you're getting vendor trade line and supplier trade line. Breaking news flash. Lenders, creditors, banks, they don't care about your Dun and Brad. They don't care about financial trade lines or vendor trade lines. So if you've been building business credit, just business credit, you're doing your business and you're doing yourself a disservice. Just to recap. Now, business funding. Well, let me go to bank credit before I go to business funding because that's what we're going to be talking about. Business credit is when you primarily focus on your revenue. It's your cash flow. How well are you managing your cash flow? Meaning, how much cash do you have coming in versus how much cash do you have going out? And you're going to get your bank rating number. So that's what bank credit consists of primarily. It's more to that, but again, I have other videos on that. But what we're going to focus on, to me, the easiest and the fastest way for you to get funding. Why? Because business funding is primarily based off stated income loans and stated income business credit cards, which I talk about a lot in my previous videos. So definitely make sure you go check those out. Now, so we're going to focus on business funding, the easiest and the fastest way because we have to show little to no documentations. So that's what I'm talking about when I mean over $250,000 and business credit. And business credit cards, right? So now, here's the thing. We have to make sure that our data is intact, right? We have to make sure that our data is intact when it comes to these lenders. What do I mean by data? Well, there's certain key components based on our personal credit profile that needs to be in position. So key component number one, we need to make sure that we have a really good payment history. So when I look at our data, when I look at our personal credit profile, now notice I'm not even talking about your credit scores. Because this is what most people get confused at. Hey, what credit score should I be at? Credit scores really doesn't matter as much. They do look at your credit score, but then they look right over to your business credit profile or to your personal credit profile and your business credit profile. But your scores is just your scores. Scores can be easily manipulated, which means your 700 credit score can be much different than my 700 credit score because it's based off the data. So I want to focus on the data today. The data tells it all, tells the story. That's what we focus on, your story. So if you have good payment history, you're going to have a good story, right? You're going to have a good background, meaning you can pay your bills on time and over a period of time. That's what these lenders care about. So that's number one. Are you paying your bills in over a period of time on the personal side and on the business side? Number two, we want to make sure that we have no derogatory items, right? Which means no collection account, especially within the last 24 months, especially within the last 12 months. But I would say, just to be on the safe side, within the last 24 months, you don't want to have any collection accounts or any charge-offs. Collection account, charge-off, which means any evictions, car repossessions, any collection accounts. So you want to make sure you're free and clear of that. If not, you definitely want to dispute it and remove it from your personal credit profile. Either we can help with that, or you can do it yourself or hire your team, however you want to do it, but just get it done. Next, you also want to focus on your credit utilization, right? The way you manage debt matters. So if you're constantly going over your credit cards, which means you're going to have a high debt to credit ratio, which is a fancy word for credit utilization, then lenders will turn you down because it's the second biggest key component that makes up your credit profile is your credit utilization. So we definitely want to make sure that we're keeping our balances low on our credit cards. And you need to understand how to master credit cards, which I'm going to teach you on another video. Now, or we teach you that in the Apex Business Credit Community, how to master your credit cards. That's the business credit community that I built in order to teach new LLCs how to start, how to scale, and how to grow their business. Shameless plug, right? Okay, so now we need to make sure our credit utilization low. People think 30%, but I'm here to tell you need to be at 10%. 10% credit utilization. So our payment history needs to be good, 98 to 100%. We need to make sure we have zero derogatory items like collections and charge-offs and late payments. And we need to make sure that we keep our credit utilization low. So far, that's where we at. Next, we need to make sure that our credit history, right? What I mean by credit history? Well, let's unpack that. Let's break it down. Well, your credit history based on your overall credit history, meaning the longevity of your credit profile. So have you been establishing credit for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Lenders like to see 5 years or higher, which is your average age, right? So your average age on your account can determine how long have you really been managing debt. So like to see 5 years or higher on your personal credit profile. Now, if you don't have 5 years or higher, there's certain ways you can do it, like adding an authorized user to actually get that higher. So that's one way you can do that too as well. For those who know what an authorized user is, that's when you piggyback off somebody else's credit card and you get their history, meaning their payment history, their credit utilization. You get all that data on your personal credit profile. So it can help you out a lot. That's an authorized user. Now, you have to use the authorized user in a strategic way. Don't just add an authorized user if you had a whole bunch of negative and derogatory accounts on your credit profile. You're doing yourself a disservice, right? We have to do it in a strategic way because it's like putting lipstick on a pig, like I like to say. At the end of the day, it's still a filthy pig. Sorry for all my pig lovers out there, but it's still a filthy pig. So you just can't dress the pig up and call it something else, right? Same thing with your credit profile. It may boost your score up, that authorized user, but you still will have a bad personal credit profile. Make sense? That's what I mean by your score can be easily manipulated. So moving right on, we want to make sure no hard inquiries, which means your credit profile need to be free and clear of hard inquiries. When I say free and clear, I'll just say the less, the better. Look, I have a 24-hour or less free hard inquiry. I'm going to leave the link in the description where you can click on it, and it's going to be emailed to you. It's going to tell you exactly how to remove your hard inquiries in 24 hours or less. Right, so I'm going to drop that in the description too as well. But we want to make sure we have no more than 5 inquiries per credit bureau. Because here's why. Too many inquiries on your credit profile can make you look frivolous, or AKA make you look thirsty for credit. And no one likes to lend to an individual who looks thirsty for credit. So we want to make sure that we keep our inquiries low, because I don't care if you have an 850 credit score, you still will get turned down for any type of funding. That's really important. So let's keep the higher inquiries low. Next, we want to make sure that we have a high limit credit card on our credit profile. This is called revolving credit. Anytime you have a credit card on your credit profile, it's called revolving. Lenders like revolving credit. They want to see installment too, like a car loan, mortgage loan, etc. But revolving is more powerful. Why? Because it's proven to these lenders that you can manage debt. So that's the power of credit cards. So they want to at least see that you have a $5,000 revolving credit card or higher on your personal credit profile, because they like to do something that's called comparable credit, which means if they see you can manage $5,000 on the personal side, imagine what you can manage on the business side. Just imagine 15,000, 20,000. So they're either going to match that 5,000 or they're going to give you a higher credit limit. Why? Because lenders understand that you have expenses. You have to spend money to make money. They understand you have inventory. They understand you have equipment. They understand you need to hire a marketing team. They understand that you have to have systems. So they understand it. So they're going to give you a high credit limit, a higher credit limit than what's on your personal side. Because if you get a Best Buy credit card, there's only so many TVs you can buy with your Best Buy credit card on the personal side. Although on the business side, you might own an event space or a bar that you might need 10 or 15 TVs. You tracking me? So this is why they're going to give you higher credit limits on the business side. So yeah, on the personal side, you have to make sure that you can manage debt. How do we do that? By having a higher credit limit on our personal side. So we want to make sure that we do that. Now, a great way you can get higher credit limits on your personal side is that you can go through credit unions. That's a great source, because credit unions typically get higher credit limits than traditional banks like a Bank of America or a Chase, right? So we want to make sure we do that. Now, next, I want to say we want to make sure that we build a relationship with these financial institutions, which is huge, right? Make sure that we build a relationship with these banks. What do I mean by that? Because a lot of people say that. Well, it's simple as getting a business checking account. It's simple as getting a personal checking account. It's simple as getting a merchant account, getting a savings account, getting their secured cards, getting their business lines of credit, getting their unsecured credit cards, right? That's building a rapport. That's rebuilding a relationship with these banks. Because it's simple. You rather do business with people that you know, like, and trust, right? Same thing with these lenders. They want to do business to people that they know, like, and trust. You're more prone to give somebody $100 that you know, as opposed to getting somebody, a stranger, $100 that you don't know, because they have no history with you. Same thing when it comes to lenders. You build up that history, you can get funding. Your chances are significantly higher to get funding if you build that relationship. So those are some key data points on a personal side that I want to bring to the table, because that's going to tell your story. That's how you're able to get business credit cards, unsecured business credit cards, right? Now, for those who out there, I don't want to leverage my personal credit. Here's what you're doing yourself a disservice. Because you're thinking, this is what you're thinking. I want to keep my personal and my business separate. That's exactly what you're doing, because the business account doesn't report on your personal side, which means it's not affecting your debt to income ratio. And more importantly, it's not affecting your debt to credit ratio. So that's the reason why you're able to do this. And now you'll be able to apply for more credit because it's not affecting your debt to income ratio and your debt to credit ratio. So now you can get more loans. You tracking me? So that's the data we want to focus on when it comes to our personal side. Now, the business side is relatively easy. Pay your bills on time. Make sure that you establish your business for a long time, meaning you want to have business age. That's number two. Credit utilization is almost a non-factor when it comes to the business side. So yeah, just those little things can really help you on the business credit side as opposed to the personal side. So pay your bills on time on the business credit side. Make sure you develop a relationship with the banks. get longevity, meaning your business age really matters when it comes to the business side. Your credit utilization doesn't really matter. Your hard inquiries on the business side doesn't really matter. So just keeping those things in check can really grow your business credit profile. But the most important thing, you want to add the proper trade lines. I'm always talking about different type of trade lines. So when you go with vendors accounts, you only adding supplier. When you go with net 30 accounts, you only adding supplier and vendor trade lines. But when you start adding financial trade lines, like a secure business credit card, a business auto loan, a business installment loan, things of that nature, now you're able to diversify your trade line on the business side, because lenders do look at your personal, even though you PG in it, they do look at your personal and your business. So we want to make sure that we build them both. If your personal not in position, start building your business credit profile, because there is a way where you can go from business credit to business funding to bank credit, starting from business credit. There is a way. So that's on another video. Hey guys, appreciate you. Hope this helps. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and yes, make sure you follow me. See you on the next video.